That's kind of more an other military thing. Or
Yes, well, I will give you the naval equivalent of at ease now.
He kind of just looks at you with an eyebrow cocked over the thick rims of his glasses. Like he can't really figure out why you're trying to tell him to be at ease when he's simply just doing a task.
He looks nervous. He what's the word? Uncomfortable.
Oh, he actually looks more comfortable than he normally does. He's in a better state right now.
Arkansas?
No, not Arkansas.
Wyoming.
Nah, he's not in Arkansas right now.
American, explain. I'm gonna hand him a mug of tea while I'm making the rest. Like the first one I make will go to him.
Fair
so
enough. He'll take it and he'll put it on a big silver tray along with accoutrement, sugar, honey. You know.
Cool. So we are getting those.
Oh yeah, no, he's going out to the nines. He pulled a big tray out from one of the cabinets, and he's just stacking like cream, milk, sugar, honey, tools.
You misunderstand, young one. That one is for you.
I understand perfectly. However, it should all go up at once. That is what Admiral Sufran taught me. If to serve tea, you must serve it all at once, and all parties available must have their cup. Otherwise...
So you will be joining us then?
I suppose. I figure that's why the Admiral called me over. I figure you would know how to get tea on your own. No offense. It's not that I mean, it's just that...
No. Take a step back. Go back to where you were, mentally.
He literally, like, takes one step back.
No, I meant... Sorry, is that the wrong phrasing?
I don't know. What do you want from me? As he's starting to get a little shaken.
Listen. Why are you so afraid of us?
It's not that I'm afraid of you. I'm just afraid of everything. I was born a coward.
Why is that?
You see the metaphysical steam starting to come out of it. I was just born this way, ma'am. I'm not sure why. I'm trying my best.
Do better, I'm kidding.
There is no offense to be given, nor shall offense be taken. I was much like you. I was afraid. But, yes, believe it or not, I have lost very much, and I am afraid I will lose everything else I have. Now look at me. Do I look afraid to you? And I'm peering at him like a hawk.
He looks at you. You can't see his eyes past the thick glare of his glasses. I suppose not.
And why do you think that is?
Because you said you nearly lost everything?
No. But at least you are thinking of the situation. You are doing much better than before.
Okay.
How is his posture right now? Is he back to his normal?
He's kind of shrinking in on himself as you're talking.
I'm gonna like circle around him. I'm gonna place my hand on his shoulder. Now remember what the Admiral taught you. You are a deckhand, correct? That is the term?
Cabin boy, specifically.
Cabin boy. So why don't you start acting like one? And I'm gonna posture myself like he was before, next to him.
He kind of stares at you. Okay.
You know what to do. Follow my lead.
Is the tray all made up?
I've stopped making tea. I'm not gonna continue making tea until I'm done with this.
We're just gonna have a fucking self-help session.
Mm-hmm.
He kind of mimics you, but because you're not Navy, your stance is a little more stiff than it needs to be.
Okay.
But of
would
course,
he say that, or is he just would he say that, or is he just doing it exactly like me?
He's completely following the motions.
I'm gonna stare at him for a second. Something is off. You know better than me. Go ahead and do it yourself.
Go myself? He
Yes.
kind of like cocks his head at you, and he's like,
The posture. What he taught you.
okay, if you say so. And he goes over to you, and he just starts adjusting your shoulders, moving like your hips into you're in the right posture. I did it myself.
Very good. That is what I wanted.
Okay.
Now, what is with this switch that the Admiral referred to?
Did he? Wait, did Celeste actually hear the switch thing? I thought that was at the table.
Oh, did I?
I
Oh,
don't
maybe
know.
I didn't.
I can't remember. These things are hard to keep track of.
Yeah,
that was
I
after
wasn't sure.
Celeste left.
Yeah, that
was
was
after?
after
Okay.
Celeste. Okay, fair enough.
So what is it that the Admiral does to get you in such a state of mind?
Military training?
Military training, but
drugs.
there is more to it than that, isn't there? There's discipline, there's self-respect.
Well,
Where does that all go when the switch turns off?
The
I don't
cocaine wears
know.
off.
To be
Wow.
honest
Yeah.
with you,
You do know. You
To
do
be
know. What is your
completely
name?
honest-
Geralt?
yeah,
Gelato.
close enough. Gelato
You do know.
Stufalaninski.
You do know where it goes, but you do not want to find it yourself.
Maybe you're right. All I know is I feel a lot more comfortable on a boat than I do on land. As he kind of like slumps a little. It's like on land I can't even find the legs to walk with. But when I'm on the sea, I never lose balance. Maybe I'm just meant to be a sailor. But I have no spine.
Well, saying that you have no spine only reduces that spine. To build a spine, in the metaphorical sense, you must first believe that you have one, and then things will form on their own.
Well, to build a spine, technically, you need organic calcium.
Okay, yes,
iron.
do not get technical on me. I am doing an elaborate metaphor.
He comes out of his like scientific trance. I'm sorry.
Do not be concerned.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You are doing the thing I just told you not to, and do not say sorry again.
Or I'll hit you.
I apologize.
Okay, nobody leave Hyala alone with this kid. She will throw him the edge of the
Jesus.
ship. She's just listening to this and my inner Hyala.
The inner Yala is just losing her mind.
Yeah.
All I see is
Listen,
like tiny
cabin boy.
chibi Yala just stamping her foot with a big like red plus on her forehead, pulsating.
Yeah.
Be strong.
Y'all
Be
been
a
warned.
leader. Be strong. Be a leader.
Listen, cabin boy, I believe that your issue is that you are afraid to take matters in your own hands. Maybe you have not had the opportunity to do it yourself, or your fear comes from the fact that you've never had the responsibility to. You've never had to. But you should know that you are capable of much more than you think of. And this mindset you have yourself in is what's causing all of your troubles.
I suppose you're right.
Do not suppose, believe. The more you doubt, the harder things will be.
I will believe, but we should probably get the tea finished. As he points back to the tray of the cup
Yes.
that's already starting to cool, and the unmade tea
Yeah.
that's already been unmade.
Yes, you are correct. I got sidetracked. I apologize.
As he comes back and starts fiddling with the tea again, he just takes a deep breath. Thank you.
You are welcome. But do not thank me with words. Thank me by doing.
Or
I'm
I'll kill you.
doing.
Or Hyala will kill him.
Shala's just gonna fucking kitty claw his face up, be like, "Why are you still crying? Why are you crying?" Just
Why are
clawing-
you running?
Just
Why are you
clawing his
running?
fucking
Why
face
are
up.
you running?
Why are you crying? I'm trying to help you.
Alright,
Pain
so
makes
I'll
you
finish up
strong.
the tea and we'll head back up.
You place all the tea on the tray, and he takes the tray up. The switch fully re-engages. He carries the tea with expert precision over and places it on the table in front of you all. God, there's too many tokens wrapped around a fucking small table.
Yeah, this is a very small table. We're crowded.
It's big enough to fit, like, the 5 of you comfortably. Sufren's scooted back a little, but he can afford to be because he's
That's
tall
nice.
enough to reach. Here you
I mean-
are, sir. Ah, thank you. I trust there were no issues, as he looks up at
None at
Gerald.
all.
No, sir! And he salutes. You remembered everything. Huh, I guess it was a good idea to start with tea training. Yes, sir!
Yes, I do not understand all these condiments with the tea, but I hope you enjoy nonetheless.
Sir Friend cocks an eyebrow.
He's
And a
like,
smile
you
at
just
her.
drink it straight.
I'm just drinking straight tea.
Hyala would drink it straight too.
I'm like sniffing it.
Nim adds an inhuman amount of sugar to the point where it's sugar with tea.
Oh,
It's just fucking sugar paste. I didn't realize she was a butterfly.
Is that normal?
Nim says no as she's drinking this almost solid mass.
Ew.
I almost gagged.
She knows it's not normal. Perfect.
Yep.
I assume Samson hasn't touched his yet, because he's still sniffing it. Prin?
yes.
Oh? Enact out your tea. Everybody else has done so.
Yes, honey.
Prin literally, I mean, this is like a normal thing to him. He just takes a sip. But he makes a point to look at Samson immediately. He's like, while he's like drinking, like he's covering most of his snout with like while he's drinking, but his eyes are like just dart immediately to Samson to see what he's doing with the tea.
Sir Friend also looks at Samson. Mr. Merrymaker, not accustomed to tea, are we?
It's a luxury good for a reason.
I can truly say I've never seen anything like this in my entire life.
Well, allow me to help. How do you usually take a beverage? Sweeter, bit more bitter?
Like
Uh,
that abomination.
Usually in a cup, and that's already done.
Well then, take a sip straight and see how you like it.
Alright.
As he takes a sip of his own tea.
And then Samson will just take a sip of the tea.
Hyala's watching to see if he burns his face.
I'm pretty sure it's like cold enough to not burn us at this point.
Oh,
That's true.
gosh darn it, Celeste.
Oh no,
Totally would've
Gerald made
happened.
sure it was still just hot enough not to burn. Like, he got asked for something by Sufren. Whether he likes it or not, he wasn't letting Celeste mess anything up. The tea's fucking perfect. Does Samson like black tea? Inquiring minds want to know.
Oh, it was pretty good.
There you have it. You prefer black tea, my friend, straight from the vine to the cup.
Prin. If anyone would notice, I don't think. Probably a couple people would notice, but Prin's tail definitely starts wagging.
I'm behind you, so yeah.
Now, I just have a follow-up question.
By all
What the hell
means.
is the gold stuff over there? As he points to the honey.
Honey!
The gold stuff? That is not gold.
Well, in some cultures it's referred to as golden syrup. As Sufren reaches across the table to take the jar of honey. This, my friend, is honey. I'm not entirely surprised you're not familiar with it. It's more common in places with forests. You're aware of what bees are, yes? No offense if I'm asking a silly question.
I've heard a few stories.
I look
I've heard a
confused
few
when he says
tales.
bees.
I know a lot of folks talk about their knees. Never really put two and two together.
If you want, I can
Sure.
tell you a lot about bees.
There are more than a singular bee? I thought that was the second letter in the common alphabet.
No,
For
the
what?
insect.
For once, I'm with her on that one.
Yeah,
The insect?
Sufren just skips over that comment. He just straight skips
Yeah.
over it. Like, he can only teach so many people at once, and he's got Gerald right there.
Yeah, wait. Does the majority of this group not know what bees are?
I've seen them, I just don't know what they're called.
I've never seen them
Yeah.
in my whole life.
There wouldn't be any in the Arctic, so.
Nim knows, and Nim will tell you. Just
Nim
Yeah,
would know.
But there's
Bryn
a
would
solid
know.
3 people.
See, here's the thing: is me and Celeste are like the two biggest like foreigners.
That's true, but I would imagine that Ardia would have bees somewhere, considering it is still one of the like more grassy regions.
Bruh, don't compare me to yourself. I'm out of this world. Literally.
Well, that is also true. See, Samson has a
Maybe.
legitimate reason. The other one just lives in a box,
Yeah.
which is probably the reason why Sufren just straight skips over the comment, because he knows she's from Ardia. So like, there's only so many things he can teach at once.
I have no excuse. I just have never seen, like, I don't know what they're called. I've seen them.
to
of
see a
course.
bee, you have to go outside, and Celeste was in the library.
Yeah.
Celeste
I
just
can assure
cleared
you,
out.
I've been outside enough.
Anyway,
There
so,
have to be bees outside for it to
How
matter
does
about going outside.
how does Gerald take his tea?
Gerald's just standing there sipping on it black.
Damn, a man of culture.
And then there's Nim.
I mean, it all depends on the type of tea, and this is a black tea.
Nim would do that regardless.
Meanwhile, Sufren is sitting there. He turned the black tea into milk tea.
Ew. I'm gonna wince at that.
You can wince, but if you think this man drinks one kind of tea only once, then you're gonna be quite sorry.
He is one of them.
Milk tea is just gross.
Milk tea's good.
Well, in
Depends on how
character,
you
milk
make
tea
it.
is gross.
Ah, yes.
Okay, fair enough. There, now I don't have to fucking take away hit points.
You were poisoned by the milk tea.
I'm gonna move. I'm gonna move
Aw.
over here so Prince Tail can stop hitting my legs.
He definitely doesn't know.
I'm gonna step over it.
Now I'm just gonna fucking move him back, and we're gonna say the table's in the center, because the idea
That
of
makes a
Prince
lot of
sitting,
sense.
sitting in
Sure.
the middle of the table is just like driving me nuts.
Oh, so Gerald's not sitting at the table. He's standing next to it.
He's standing next to Safran, but I can't put him any closer, because whether it's hexagons or squares, it's still 5 feet by 5 feet.
Yeah.
Well, I'll offer my seat up to Gerald then. I'll let him sit there.
He
You know,
won't. He won't take it
my
whether
friend-
you offer it.
What?
It's right next to Prin.
It's not even that. He's standing at attention next to Sufren. He's not going to leave that formation unless.
I'm gonna look at Sufren then. I'm gonna like give him a look and like nod my head towards Gerald.
Sufren starts to cock a smile in the middle of trying to explain what bees are, and he's just gonna gesture a finger just to wait a moment. Anyway, as I was saying, a bee is a small six-legged insect which, contrary to the myths you may have heard, they do not in fact have knees. Wild idea, I know. Bees
Wait.
are... And he looks
What
up to
color
left.
are they?
They're black and yellow typically, but there are orange and black varieties. There are also spotted varieties. There's a lot of different ones based on where you are in the world.
For once,
Nimble.
you see me excited for once, and I'm gonna say, "Oh, bees!" but in Sylvan.
Oh, Bastophasis! I'm sorry, I don't know what Sylvan's supposed to sound like.
It
Yeah, me
literally
neither.
sounds like forest spirit talk.
I thought I imagined like Finnish, but
Ifaknu isni!
Basically.
sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Nim will hand Sufren a piece of paper and say, "Can you draw it?"
Sufren just looks at the piece of paper as if it's a challenge.
And she also... Does he have a pin? Because Nim has pins.
He takes out a quill from his jacket pocket, puts down his cup. I see I've been issued a challenge. I will explain while doing this. And without even looking at the paper, he starts drawing what eventually starts to become a very elaborate scientific diagram of the bee and its anatomy.
Oh my god.
Without even looking at it. He takes like a little ink pot out too, and he keeps re-dipping it while the entire time talking to and looking at Samson. They are a very social kind of organism. They live in what is referred to as a hive. It is constructed from proteins and other forms of paper that they secrete.
So this whole lesson, Samson's just giving him like the most glazed look. Just.
Prin is
Welcome back to school, guys.
looking between Samson and Sufren. He has a little amused smile on his face, just watching. Just sipping his tea.
So I'm just gonna
Stop you right here.
I'm just gonna stop you right here. This tea stuff is real daisy, but I'm gonna get back to the question at hand. What the hell is that yellow stuff you're holding?
Well,
Honey.
he put it down. I was getting to that. Specifically, this substance is fermented pollen. The bees use it to feed their young, and it's basically their food. Sentient organisms such as ourselves have come to find that it is incredibly sweet and has natural antibiotic properties, which means it's a great form for shelf life and keeping on ships, along with sugar, which he gestures to the sugar bowl, which also doesn't spoil. Therefore,
It also has the daily nutritions to, like, you could eat this for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and have all of your daily nutritional value.
Sifren just gestures and points with the quill at Nim. This is also true. So having it on board, especially if something were to happen, like rations were to spoil, or preserves were to be lost, say in a storm, having honey around means that, while not pleasant to eat a sugary syrup for a couple of days, it will allow soldiers to survive. It's also good in liquor, as Sifren cocks an eyebrow and looks at Samson.
His eye, like his glazed look, like comes back, and his eyebrows pop up. It's like, so
Real
you don't
shit.
say.
Oh yes, in fact, you can actually ferment alcohol from honey. That's referred to as mead.
Oh,
Mead, huh?
I've had it before.
Yes.
I consider myself a very experienced drinker, but I've never had any of that. So.
Yes, it is quite good. You will like it.
I would expect you wouldn't. The making of it is less common nowadays. It was more of an ancient drink. But you can still find people that make it, though I doubt any goes to Varesis. Which
And
wasn't
if
really...
it does, it certainly ain't going to where I go.
Sufren gestures as if, you know, you're right. It's unfortunate, but I do believe that the inventory of the Mistral is carrying a few barrels. You should join me for cracking open a keg or two, as Sufren...
I'm peering over the table.
Yeah, so
I
let's
got
just
the cards.
Ah, gambling man, homie. Careful now. You wouldn't want to lose all your money to me. He smiles and takes another sip.
See, here's the thing. I might not be as smart as you, but I'm smart enough to know I ain't putting nothing down on cards.
Oh, smart man. Smart man.
You don't survive a recess without it.
Very true. As he takes the absolute superb, immaculate nat 20 drawing of a bee and its anatomy and passes it over to Nim without even once having looked at the paper.
So I want to like take the. So it's like a pot of honey, right?
Yeah, it's like a glass jar with a hole in the top for the honeycomb like whisk thing, whatever the fuck they are called.
I'm gonna like take it and like pour a little honey on my finger and just straight on the gums.
Ew.
So friends just waiting to see what you say.
It's a bit too sweet for my taste.
Sufren shrugs and says, I figured as much. You seem more like you like things that bite, kick, and breathe a little fire into your chest.
Now,
Nim
don't
asks,
get me
why would you-
started on breathing fire.
Yeah, as he makes the breathing fire comment, he kind of just like doesn't turn his head. He just turns his eyes in Prince's direction, as if he's trying to hide that he's looking for a reaction.
I'm also side-eyeing him, like at the very same.
Visible singular sweat drop.
I'm under the assumption that he meant that he was eating live creatures.
Yeah, so Nim asked, why would you
Kicking,
want to
screaming?
eat something that's kicking and screaming?
Sufren literally tries to stifle a laugh with moderate success. Turn of phrase, Miss Hot.
Oh, so I will say that by this point, Nim will have told him not to call her that.
Very well.
No, I don't mean just now. I mean like from beforehand, because I assume he would have greeted her every time she knocked on his door.
Oh,
With
fair
that.
enough.
Yeah, so that would have been addressed.
Well, then what the
long
hell
ago.
does he call her?
Yeah.
Nim.
Oh.
What else?
Mm-hmm.
Or like Miss Nim.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
also
you
works.
can still say Miss first name.
Miss first name. That's her name.
Oh, okay, Miss Hoover.
Miss not me.
Missant.
Hurtant.
If you're done looking over that B diagram, I'm gonna take it.
Miss
Oh,
Hutton.
yeah, Nim will slide it over.
I'm amazed at this diagram.
Sufren just glances over his shoulder at Gerald and just offers to take the cup from him. Which he does, and he pours another cup of tea and passes it back. Thank you, sir. And Sufren just stops him with a glance. And he just straightens up and sips the tea.
When he like fumbles his words, I'm gonna glare at him too.
He's not paying attention to you.
I know.
By all means, Gerald. Young Celeste has gotten out of her chair. Shouldn't leave it getting cold. As he gestures for
Got
Gerald
up
to
like
sit.
5 minutes ago.
Yeah, well, 5 minutes in JoJo's time means fucking seconds in reality.
Yeah, it was a B conversation in seconds.
I have a bunch of things to like get through at once. We're all piling on to the impromptu tea ceremony. But yes, Gerald.
I'm gonna loop around and get more tea from him.
Yeah, the pot's like in the middle of the table.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, so you can.
You
be
could
where-
probably share a chair with Nim, because she's really teeny.
Nah, I'm good.
Sufren will actually get up and offer you his own chair.
No need, Admiral. You need your rest.
Rest is for when the sun is down. But
You guys are getting rest?
Yes,
Are you not?
I've been getting a decent amount. You see, as there's like dark bags underneath my eyes.
anyway, he will insist that you take his chair. And he will stand
very
up and...
well. I do not want to be rude.
Yeah. So he's gonna lean. But Gerald, as the seating is rearranged, sits right next to Prin, because that was the seat he was told to sit in. And
All
Sufren
according to plan, baby.
kind of just starts leaning against the sidewall of the ship, and he's just watching the spectacle about to unfold.
You fucking.
I'm looking at Gerald. And I'm like giving him like a you know what to do look.
You got this.
He doesn't know shit. Tren is just gonna be sipping his tea, sipping, chilling, and trying to actively ignore this child.
Sufren takes notice of your ignoring Gerald. Sufren will remember this.
So what's Gerald doing? Is he like in jellyfish mode, or is he in like
Naval
Admiral
mode.
ordered me mode?
He's
Naval mode?
in naval mode. Transform and roll out.
Wow.
So how awkward is this? Is anyone
The
saying
real
anything?
magical girl was Jen.
Very. Like,
No one's saying anything?
no.
Okay,
Nim
well,
is
Only-
about to
only
reach
a
over
few
and make
fucking
a second glass, and she's like, "Does anyone else want some?" As she pours herself some.
Sure, I'll
second
take
pot
some
of
more.
glass? What?
No, pot. I meant to say pot of tea.
Okay, I was confused.
Yeah.
Ah,
so-
yes!
and then-
Liquid glass into the cup.
She
Like,
just,
whoa, I
she
don't
just casts
understand.
fucking heat metal and instead melts fucking glass into the pot. Just starts pouring it. As she starts pouring herself a second cup of tea, Sufren takes the entire, like, sugar canister and puts it right next to her. Enjoy, my
Nim
dear.
says thank you
I'm
and pours
I'm
Samson
disgusted.
tea.
I'm disgusted. Well,
Nim
I
is-
believe I have lost my appetite, but thank you anyways.
You better keep that sugar out of my cup.
Sufren's just, like, stifling his laughter because you guys are a riot to him.
So, how are we enjoying our time on the, I'm gonna slowly turn back to the Admiral. What is the name of the ship?
You can just call it the Mistral, dear.
How are we enjoying our time in the Nostromo?
As she turns back around, he kind of just lifts a hand to his eyebrows and starts rubbing them. With a smile on his face, but just like, oh, Jesus
I can definitely say I miss land.
Yes, but, not all of us are better on land. And I'm gonna, just give a glance to Gerald.
Well, I mean, personally,
As Kryn speaks, the hair on Gerald's neck stands on end.
personally, I do enjoy the journey on the water, the seas, but I can't do this forever, that's for sure. With all due respect, Admiral, I would like to reach land at some point. I'm getting kind of anxious, because we do have a mission.
That is true, but it's about a 2-week trip either way, and we've already been through about a week and a half. Couple more days. It's been nice and quiet. The weather's been cooperating. Shouldn't be anything too terrible.
It's been too
Nah, man, he jinxed it.
And there's definitely no anger fellas popping up on board.
Not now, anyways.
Admiral, with all due respect.
As Samson says that, you hear, like, yelling across the water on one of the other on the ship next to Mistral, and you just see a barrel go flying across the deck, crashing and splintering.
Their deck or our deck?
Oh, no, their deck. Like, you just see a barrel come up from nowhere, like, out of the bottom of the ship, and it just leaps across. And it just crashes into the deck with an audible thud that you hear coming over the water. It's low, but it's like a... As Sufren looks up, he just starts putting his hand over his face and shaking his head. There's another barrel of provisions gone.
Nim mutters in Goblin before she sips her tea and goes, he has the charisma of a uncultured baboon.
I have no idea what the fuck he said.
Yeah, I'm cocking my head at her. Like, I'm
Yeah.
surprised that she spoke a language I don't know.
I don't think anyone knows what the heck you said.
Fantastic! Nim does not reply.
Well, Sufren's ears perk up, and he kind of looks over at her, but he chooses to, like, not say anything.
Yeah, I would.
Nim
I
will
would
see his eye and wonder, why would you learn Goblin?
I'm wondering the same damn thing.
Oh, so
You don't
there
know.
it is. We learned his identity as 3 goblins in a trench coat.
Nice.
Okay, so Nim learned Goblin as, like, a minor form of rebellion against her family to not be prim and proper, because I imagine Goblin to be like...
Yeah,
Name
probably.
is proper.
Hey.
Yeah, so that was her, like, only form of rebellion, but she only mutters insults.
I cannot believe men like that get so high in the force. You think it would dissuade them?
Men like who?
The other guy on the other ship.
Oh,
Big angry
like
man.
you say that in character?
Yes.
Sufren just, like, takes a deep breath, like a really deep breath. You see his chest, like, barrel out, and he just sighs, and it's like, yeah, it is the military. As with any military, they typically don't want everybody being soft and kind, singing songs. Though, again, I apologize on his behalf, whether he wants me to or not. He gets results, and that's what matters.
No.
His combat record is immaculate. Although I don't
bet.
entirely agree with how he gets things done, the point is he gets things done. As he kind
Results
of
usually result in the pain of others, so I do not agree on this front.
Not every battle is fought with an army. Some of them are indeed against monsters, as he looks at, like, all 5 of you, all being adventurers, all of your primary battles are fought against, well, not people.
Well,
Nim has never fought a person.
I've never fought.
Nim just trained.
Period.
Yeah.
well.
Whoa!
As he does that, I kind of like loosen my collar a bit and break eye contact.
Nim just drinks her tea further.
At this, he kind of, like, gets a confused look on his face, like, you're all adventurers. You should know what it's like to fight a monster or two.
Yeah.
Yes, well,
Monster's a very loose definition.
from what is bad from one angle might not be from the other. And to say that he has only fought monsters is not a truth.
Well, I suppose not, but not every person has good intentions. Point is, the civilians and innocents are protected. That is what's most important. As he sips from his tankard.
Frin nods silently.
I open my mouth to say something and then I'll stop and just finish off my tea.
I'm just thinking to the rest of development mean it's like, you guys protect civilians?
Nim was the protected civilian. Let's get that straight.
I was the civilian, but I can't say anything about the rest of that statement.
Assuredly you, Mr. Bellitus. You must have had some wonderful combat tales in your day, even at your age.
Yeah. I mean,
I can hear his ego inflating.
Yeah,
Is his
I'm
ego
just like,
inflating or deflating?
my eyes are like glossing over and I'm checking out.
An admiral is being like, "Hey, you must have done some pretty cool stuff. Say things that will impress me."
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Prin's deflating more than anything else.
No, Frin is
Bro, he's cool from this shit.
his tail's wagging. He just like puts down his tea. He smiles, kind of like reminiscently, if that's a word.
He smiles and Gerald just starts deflating.
Oh
Just
shit!
shrinking because he's staring at his teeth. Just...
God, I'm not gonna fucking jeez.
Wait, before he gets onto that story, I was like, I've noticed Celeste like trying to like get Gerald to be stiffened, but I also feel him quivering over there. So like, I'm just gonna like side-eyed him with like a very toothy grin, and like open my like poncho to show off my holster, and is like, "What's the matter, sailor boy? Scared of something?"
He looks away from Prin and looks at the gun, and just you can almost see the shine of his eyes through the glasses, and he full on just buries his head as close as he can to the gun. Oh my word! Is that an original Varisian hand pistol?
Hell yes.
Haha! It is one original Varisian hand pistol, and then like with like a little bit flare from my left hand, just rolling it in my finger, just like I got two.
His mouth just drops open, and his big old top buck teeth are exposed. My
Alright, I'm
word.
invested now.
The gunsmithing from Varesis is known throughout the world. It's incredible. The way they can pull metal. They get rifling in there. The cylinders almost never jam.
Darn tootin'.
Oh my god.
As Prin says that, you see the hair stand up on Gerald's neck again. Yes, the woodworking's usually incredible, and some of the more ancient firearm models found in the dungeons that are known in the land are still incredibly in good condition despite weathering.
After that, I'm just gonna like I holster the gun. I'm just gonna like start looking at my nonchalantly at my hands and be like, yeah, seeing them up close in person, you really get a sense of how those ancient people knew their metalworking.
Prin narrows his eyes at Samson.
What makes them so unique?
The extruding method, my dear. Varetian
Okay.
Varetian barrels are typically extruded rather than forged or hammered. Because of this, it's easier to get a rifle boring because the grain all follows one direction. And because the grain follows one direction, rifling is much easier and doesn't wear out as fast. You can get legendary amounts of rifling, 10 shuns, even 20 in certain cases. Because of that, the accuracy of the guns is almost uncomparable. You can get pistols that can fire just as far as mid-range or even long-range rifles of the modern day. They're incredible! As he throws his hands up with jubilation.
I'm like smiling for once.
As he's like nerding out, I'm just like arms crossed, like smirking and nodding along. And like as he like talks about the rifling, I like tap the gun, like my rifle on my back. Just like.
Yes, that is quite fascinating.
Is that too a Varetian rifle?
Mm-hmm.
He pulls
Guy just passes out.
Yella covers her ears when he makes that sound.
Yeah, I my eyes go wide. I'm like, oh no.
He pulls up his hands to his chest. His smile as big as can be. I can't believe it! You're like a superhero!
Well, oh, I suppose you are.
Prin's fucking face. Oh, no!
Prin.
I know!
Prin literally like
I'm like a superhero.
You kind of. What are the cups made out of?
Pewter.
Ooh. Prin is going to. He's gonna let go of the cup then, and he's just gonna. Maybe you slightly hear some scrapes from the fucking table with the claws, just a little bit, slightly.
Gerald starts completely freaking out. I never thought in all my years I'd see so many pristine Varetian models so cared for and oiled. You must truly care for these beautiful pieces of firearm.
Well, I gotta.
Absolutely.
Out in the Varetian savannas, delving dungeons, fighting off cowpokes. Really, these are the only things I got going with me.
Oh, how I'd love to inventory and maintain such guns, but the Aphrodite Fleet uses Aphrodite guns. For the most part, except for the ones... And Sufrin kind of like taps his foot a little. Now, Gerald. Don't tell them the entire arsenal. Right,
So
sir.
you can if you want.
Yeah, no, I'm a little curious about that part. You can't just mention Varesis and not have an expert know about it.
I'm gonna look back at the captain and I'm gonna whisper. I believe that you showed us all you had to offer. Yes, was that not the truth?
Oh, it was the truth, but I was hoping to not mention the non-commissioned Gatling guns that I managed to get on the ship for hopes that a certain cowpoke would probably want to test run them, as he kind of cocks an eye at Samson.
Now. I know my trigger discipline enough not to want to just aimlessly fire a Gatling gun.
It wasn't so much I was worried about aimlessly firing as he kind of loosely gestures over to the ship sailing off to the port. I was hoping you wouldn't be sniping a certain someone.
Not with a Gatling gun.
That's just a waste of ammo.
Yeah.
But it will surely get the job done.
It'll get the job done, but I ain't got nothing against that crew.
Sufren laughs. That's what you think, he mutters under his breath. But I still can't believe it! Varisian firearms! Right here! Right now! As he turns towards Prin and, like, grabs on his armor. Can you believe... As he just looks at Prin's face and realizes what he did, and he immediately just slumps over and falls out of his seat onto the deck, unconscious.
He's out! He's out!
Thank goodness.
He literally grabs onto Prin's shoulder, turns, reaches up, and realizes that it's not Celeste or anyone else, it's Prin. And he just... The color drains from his face as he sees the look on Prin's face, and he just flumps over. As white as Yala's fur.
Yeah. Well, that took care of that. Now, Prin, you were telling us the story about how much ass he kicked or something?
Sufren's literally just holding his head in his hands. Just like, I should have seen that coming.
Prin just... He looks down at the passed out. Is he... What species is he?
He is...
He's human, isn't he?
No, because he's got long
What is it?
ears, so I think he is half-elf.
Yeah, it's half elf. I thought so.
But his
Okay.
ears are just a little bit longer than most half-elves. Like, they got a lot of tip.
He has more elf than human.
Yeah, he does... He expresses with his ears a lot.
Admiral?
Clean up on aisle 6.
No. If he has quarters, would you like me to take him to them?
No, young Belotus. If he wakes up, I fear he might be sick. No offense.
I'm not going to babysit him. I'm just going to take him to his bed so he doesn't have to sunbathe.
We can kick him under the table, Nim says.
Let's not do that.
But it'd be out of the sun. What's the problem?
Sufren literally takes his
The
head out
ocean
of his
water won't
hand.
lick him.
Sufren literally takes his head out of his hands and he just glares at her.
So the thing is, Nim met no ill will
Oh, I know.
at all.
I
He was a
know.
gremlin.
I feel
Sufren
that.
knows. But Sufren starts walking over and he kind of like picks up Gerald and slumps him over his shoulder. But before I take him back to his cabin, by all means, and he puts his free hand on Prince's shoulder, you certainly must have a story or two if no one else has.
I roll my eyes.
As Sufren just stands there with a little bit of a smile.
I mean, Admiral, with all due respect, I wouldn't want you to have to carry him while I tell him. It might take a while. And he smiles a little bit.
Oh, no trouble at all. Please, by all means, share the story as he nudges your shoulder.
Oh, goodness. Well, I mean, alright, listen. For better or worse, I know a lot more about fighting than I do many other things in life. My family is pretty competitive, to say the least. But point is, my father might have made me slay beasts, whether I wanted to or not. You know, jumping into water to swim, all that. Same kind of tactics. At the time, I didn't appreciate it at all, but now I have learned to appreciate uh, he kind of stops for a little bit, and he kind of like, you notice him like his eyes kind of like dart around a little bit, as if like he's kind of like he's daydreaming or something, like dreaming with his eyes open.
So friend's just looking at you with just flat affect face.
Nim is wondering when the story starts.
Friend kind of like, sorry. How about we do it maybe later tonight?
Hmm?
Mr. Bellatos, largest monster you've ever fought. Go. As he says it, just a little more straight-laced.
What did he ask?
He said, largest monster you've ever fought. Go.
God, what would be the largest monster I've ever fought? Because I'm trying to think.
A chupacabra!
He's had his fair share of bears.
Ooh, grizzly bear, black bear, a moon bear,
Owl
sun
bear!
Those are ugly.
Grizzly bear for sure. He's trying to think. Cause like, there are fucking dragons where he is.
Whoa! Yeah! Oh, the homeland of the dragon.
Just a little.
Oh, jeez. A dragon or two every now and again. Oh, yeah, Paniculo Bellotes. He fought a dragon. What was that? Bedtime sparring with his brother?
I mean, yeah, he's mostly like, he's mostly sparred with like kind of like hand-to-hand combat and not so much monsters. But I'm trying to think of like what kind of monsters he would be, like where he lives. He probably would have been not contracted, but he probably would have been just ordered by his father to fucking like go kill a disturbance of a monster that was like too close to where he lived. I'm trying to think.
Like a dire wolf?
Yeah. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Yeah, like kind of like dire wolves, in like gnolls, those kind of folk. He's definitely. Yeah, he would say dire wolf.
He's still waiting on the answer.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm waiting next to him too.
Yeah, here's an interpretive version of Prin fighting a bear that I just sketched. It's an
Damn, that was fast.
Let me see that.
Oh god, I just see the picture of Paste Boy.
No, it's an art.
Oh, I know, I flipped over.
Prin kind of.
I can't tell which one's the bear.
Like I said, they're quick sketches.
That's not an insult. That's just like Prin could be classed as a beast, so I don't know.
Oh my god.
Off the red sketch, they both kind of look like bears.
I believe
Fair fight.
it might have been a dire wolf of some kind or something. For some reason, you notice that like you would think he'd be really like into telling like his fucking hunts and shit, but he's kind of like dismissive about it.
So friend kind of puts his free hand on the table and props his head up on it while still holding Gerald over his shoulder. Alright, direwolf. And that was a commission bounty or...
My father made me do it.
Ah. So, familial training. At that, he kind of like puts his hand down and gets up from the table. And if you notice it, roll perception. Everybody roll a perception.
Cool, I was gonna say I'm next to
Everybody
him.
roll perception.
Oh shit!
Whoa.
Base
Roll
10.
doing it.
Damn!
Bruh.
Okay.
Perception.
Hey, alright.
Oops.
Yeah, you're trying to beat a 10 because I didn't say it, so it's base 10.
Nice. All right, yeah, 14.
So, yeah, let's see. Trying to beat a 10 would mean that the only people who don't quite make the mark are Jade and Samson. Or Hyala and Samson.
No, Yella got
Yeah,
a 10.
I had to restart roll 20, and I neglected to change back.
Oh, fair enough. Well,
But
beating
Yella
a
got
10
10.
would mean 11 or higher, right? Beating?
No.
Yeah.
No, you have to get 10 or more. That's how
Oh,
the DC
yeah,
works.
yeah. You're right.
that's 10 or
I-
higher.
Fair enough. So the only one who doesn't notice is Samson, just slipping the
Yeehaw.
mark.
That's
As Sufren gets up, you see that his face is just pinned stoic as he walks off with Gerald.
I'm walking next to him.
Fred looks uncomfortable. He actually looks like, yeah, he looks kind of uncomfortable, honestly. Like his smile is gone. It looks like, yeah, he's definitely like trying to keep it together.
As Celeste is walking with Sufren and the unconscious Gerald, Sufren, without even looking at her, says, "Would there be something you need, Miss Celeste?"
Yes, I just wanted to say that your cabin boy Gerald did much better today.
He kind of like stops for a second, and he kind of looks at you. But his face is quite like, it's very flat affect right now.
Yeah,
Like,
so is mine always. Doesn't affect me.
But like unusually so. And he just looks at you and says, "With all due respect, Miss Celeste, what makes you think that you can determine in one day what I've been working on him with for a few years now?"
Well, I know that a couple of days ago and earlier this week, he could not even bear to look at us. But he managed to sit down and have a conversation. If that is not progress, I do not know what is.